Hello fans of Marvel Heroes and friends of my channel. Welcome to another episode of Q&A. I answer some of the questions while playing this game. And my name is Wilfred. I've been playing this game for quite some time. I've always been passionately want to share my experience with you because I know some of you are new and this game is very precious to me. And I'm more than happy to share my experience in this game. And today's topic is about Summoner. Now, why do I want to make a video on Summoner? Is because I do keep track of the question coming in through my videos. In as much as possible, I would like to respond to all your questions and so on. And I think nowadays a lot of you are new to the game, and as someone who's new to the game, this whole concept of Summoner may be quite new. New experience to you, and I would like to share with you what you need to watch out for when it comes to gearing Summoner. And for those who like to first come to this game, not too long ago, and you've been wondering how this game has evolved when it comes to the whole Summoner setup, and I would like to share some past history with you. How far we've gone to when it comes to the Summoner. By the way, this game is very much like a click game. Like you have to know what to click, and that is a premium skill. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. Let me just get another box here, Mr. Hyde. That is the ICP. All right, so that I will cover. And for those who've been with the game for quite some time, couple of years, like I am, and would like to engage a kind of intellectual discussion on how we could have the summoners being improved. I have a lot of ideas, and I would like to just talk about it. I think some of us are quite passionate about this game, and we just I don't think Gazillion would listen to some of this advice or experience anyhow. But it's just for us friends to just talk over coffee or tea, like I'm having a Earl Grey right now. All right, how I would implement the whole entire summoner thingy. All right, so Crossbone is up there. Man, 3 weeks down the road and still Crossbone, and yes, my ping is really terrible, and no one is want to do Crossbone anymore, as you can see. All right, so that's one I would like to talk about the Summoner, and also I would like to spend some time, and let me just jailbreak. I would like to spend some time talking about. I think one of you asked a very valid question on the about the traveling power, because some of the heroes have a very good traveling power, can teleport, no requirement for for spirit and so on, and some others may not be so lucky and so on. What do I think about it? Is there a need to balance the heroes so that they all have the similar kind of traveling power? So I also would like to talk about it. You guys all go away. Love it. So yeah, I would like to spend some time talking about that. And you see, no one play this game anymore. Usually Crossbone, everybody rush to here. I think everybody is playing Overwatch right now. All right. So and I'd like to also talk about the event because I understand some of you may not be playing this game and be wondering what's happening to this game and the whole Civil War events and so on. So I'd like to also talk a little bit about it as well. Wow, this guy is going down fast. All right, so that is something I would like to talk about. And so let's start with the summoners. All right, so now summoners is actually not something that is new in this whole genre. I think a lot of games out there have this whole concept of summoner. Now games like Diablo 3, I think the Witch Doctor is like a summoner. You have frogs and whatnot, and in this game there's no difference. There are heroes that are that rely on pets to deal damage. Now so when it comes to summoner, heroes that have viable pets, there are some heroes like Luke Cage or like Luke Cage, and they have pets as well, but they are not really viable summoners. So I can't click on this game, man, seriously. It keeps moving around, so I have to hold the shift key, by the way. So for the viable summoner, there are some stats that you need to watch out for, and you should know that some stats will go into the pet, some stats will not. The only stat right now that go to the pet are the crit rating means a crit chance as well as a brutal chance. Anything else, damage rating, yes, what else? None of this really go into the pet at all. And I've got seal here. Crit damage rating, none of them go to the pet. So the only thing that really go into pet are it's just that crit chance and brutal chance. That's all. And for some of the heroes is how come I'm solving ICP? This is the cosmic version of ICP. Where are the people? Yeah. So usually I'm not so distracted by the game itself, and I can just talk because there are other people who pick up all the stats. There's another person here. I must have missed some bosses somewhere. So yeah. So that is the only stat that go into the pet are the crit damage, crit chance as well as the brutal chance. That's the only thing. Sometimes for some heroes it's a health and defense, and that is all. All right. So now with that said, I think the first thing you should take note of is that it become almost like a decision, very simple decision, right? If you are a summoner, would you like to gear for summon ally damage? Now, summon ally damage is the only damage that go into a pet. You can open your character attribute here, and there's one called summon ally damage somewhere below. I'm just playing this game, and there's one there that tells you this one, summon ally damage. Now it's 176%, but there are gears, there are stats like intelligence that help to boost this up to 300, 400%. Now what it really means is this: in your whole, if you play a summoner, you have, maybe you have like 6 active power or 7 active power. Some active power is tagged as summon, while some other active power are just a hero active power. So if you are gearing for summon ally damage, that would increase the pet output. So if you think about your power in a spectrum 100%, if you say 60% from pet and 40% from hero, if you stack the summon ally damage, you boost up this 60%, but you won't touch any of this 40%. If you boost your hero's crit damage as well as the damage rating, it'll boost up on the hero the 40%, but it has nothing to do with the other side. This concept is very important because that would help you decide sometimes, which stats is important for you to kind of like use. And in the past, I have a lot of video to determine which of how many percent is the split between the two, and it almost become like a very kind of like complex kind of games to play. So in the past, if you play a summoner, by and large, if you gear for summon ally damage, you are in good shape. So that is basically what this game should design us. But I think I would just leave this idea with you, is that I think the whole summoner in this game was being broken by two villains, and I'll talk a little bit about it in the history session of this whole video. Now, it comes to a point whereby it's not always true that you gear for summon ally damage and it work. In fact, I found that for some hero it doesn't work that way. Like for magic, it doesn't matter how hard you gear summon ally damage. It's just that the best is really to gear for the hero's damage rating and crit damage rating. And the pet is very limited kind of damage output. So gearing for summon ally damage actually make your DPS lower, even if you pick a summoner build. So now it become like you have to have awareness of what summoners is good at doing what. Now I think right now it's kind of in a mess. I believe. If you are playing heroes like I think Iceman is somewhere that is very balanced right now. I'm not saying that he's strong. I'm just saying that he's balanced in a way that I think for successful summoner kind of like design, Iceman is actually one. I would say that you can gear for summon ally damage and you have quite a good result from him. So that's how I see. But there are some heroes like it's gone. There are some heroes like like Dr. Doom, right? Dr. Doom is yet another hero that's very very interesting. I think his unique design. There's not a lot of summoner gear for it. He only have one summoner gear to it, and I think in some way, in order to make a summoner Doom work, you have to work really hard to gear for those like summon ally damage kind of like gear. But when you do that, you actually become god level, and that creates another problem as well. Now, why is it so? Because pets are like you can see pets as an extra layer in terms of like a damage over time, but they're not, because you don't need to interact with them. For most of the pet out there, wow, this is hitting hard. For most of the pet out there, they just do auto attack, and auto attack require no interaction from the player unless the pet despawns like Loki. And there are quite a number of pets like Rocket Raccoon's turret. You can plant a turret there, and indefinitely it would just create damage. And how do you then balance something that you don't even need to interact and has no spirit cost? Because once you drop a turret, it's there to just perpetually, for another 5 minutes or 10 minutes to do damage. How do you balance that? And that is probably one of the reasons why they've been thinking so hard. Garzillion have been thinking so hard that how then can they actually balance something that do not require interaction from the player, yet yet dealing damage kind of thing. So, but I think the way I see it is that different summoners are different. Like for example, Rocket Raccoon, you have to reposition the turret all the time. So there's some level of interaction. Although when it comes to raiding, you just drop it once and you just keep hitting, right? It doesn't do anything. So that is for Rocket Raccoon. For Iceman, you have to interact with the Golem. And to sort of like the Golem can taunt, and the Golem can do like a whole bunch of damage. But even back to Rocket Raccoon, the Groot also, you have to move Groot around, and by doing so, you are also interacting with the game and to actually be rewarded with the interaction. And for Loki, a lot of those kind of like all the pets are just very temporal. It's there for a short period of time, and it vanish, disappear. So that is one way that they try to get you into interacting with the pet, like for Loki. And for Squirrel Girl is kind of is yet another world on its own. It's sort of like the squirrel will despawn in a while, but it can spawn back via different forms. So again, there's some interaction there required to do something in order to deal extra damage. Although the squirrel itself will continue to doing it, and without you interacting with it at all. So when it comes to say Crossbone Man, where should I go? Crossbone, of course, Hightown. So when it comes to say a hero like Doctor Doom, I think Doctor Doom is is yet another kind of like tier on its own when it comes to summoner. When it comes to magic, magic also the pets you can choose between the little demon or big demon and so on. But there's also one power that you can interact with it and do something. So they're trying to design the whole summoner to be that way, all right? And that's how I see it. Crossbone over the other side. Yeah, man, the lag here is crazy, huh? Yeah, it happens to me. It's just something like that. So what I'm trying to say is that you have to be aware when it comes to playing all this summoner and to see that should you gear for summoner. I would say for most heroes you still gear for the summon ally damage, but for magic especially I wouldn't even consider. This car is like blocking my way. Like for magic, I wouldn't consider using the summon ally damage, and I think in some way it kind of like it fails in some sense, because I think a good summoner design should be something that not so tedious. Like you invest so much gear to it, and you realize that oops, it's just not designed to be so. I mean, how will you know, right? If you are, I mean, even for me. I actually invested a lot of time and energy into gearing her, thinking that she can be, Queen of Limbo. You don't need a thing; it has to be a summoner, right? So I actually geared her up totally on summon ally damage, and it was horrible. And I learned it the hard way. But I don't think you can expect people to keep making mistakes to realize that oops, it's not designed that way. So I don't think it's a very good design in that sense. But I mean, it is what it is, and I'm here more to share experience and why in some instances I mentioned that oh, you should gear for this, and in some instances you should not, right? So now with that said, I think if you look at the history of the of summoners, and that's what I'd like to share that with you as well, because you have to see where it come from until today and how we go from here. And the way that I see it, that for those who have been with this game for some time, summon ally damage is something that's being introduced new after Loki broke the game. Yeah, see, I told you, 2 villains broke the game and end up where we are today. So in the past, there's no such thing as summon tag. Pets just inherit the damage from the heroes. If the hero is strong, pets are strong too. I thought it's a fair deal. But somehow, Loki become very powerful in some of the power as a summoner, and that created another issue for the game, which I think it could have been an easy fix, but they sort of took it I think they took it in total wrong way. And you know what? I mean, that was back in the very maybe 2 years ago, and it took them 2 years to fix one of the power that is too powerful for Loki. By the way, that arcane ruin. Yeah, no, sorry. But because they realized that they find it impossible to balance on pets that are too powerful, and so they introduced something called summon ally damage, thinking that that would be it. So after that, I mean, the summoner never really quite where they are or where they should be. Oh, by the way, I'm gear for intelligence. It's at my HP gear. So if you see the kill time is horrible, well, I mean, that is you have Guardian to blame because they force us to play with very suboptimal gear, but very good in XP. All right. So with that, they have the summon ally damage, splitting the damage into 2 parts to it, which totally it just doesn't work. I mean, in my opinion, because there's no trade-off. The game becomes very straightforward, right? You look at the hero contribution versus the pet contribution. There's no diminishing return to damage rating, crit damage rating, and summon ally damage, right? So there's no diminishing return. Whichever part contributes the most, stack it up. So if your pets are contributing most of damage, like most of the summoner today is, stack summon ally damage. If your hero is contributing the higher kind of highest damage compared to a pet, like magic, stack hero damage. That is no-brainer. It's just that you have to discover that, make a mistake on either one of them, then you realize that oops, it's one way or the other, right? So, and after that, I think they try to save the summoner by creating something very creative, which I thought it was the right thing to do. They try to do something like some of the power will inherit the summon ally damage. And for example, the Book of Art from Iceman, I thought it was a very good design to be able to use the summon ally damage to buff a hero's power. There's something very original there, and I think that was well and good. But then comes the Doctor Doom, which kind of break everything, because Doctor Doom wasn't. I don't think it was designed to be a summoner. Not that great. But because in order to play Doctor Doom, you have got to get all this very wonderful kind of gear for him, and by doing so, naturally you become very strong because all these summon ally damages stack up at a crazy level. And I think after that they kind of regretted the whole thing and say, oops, it's not nice to have heroes that you could just not doing much and still doing a lot of damage, because Doctor Doom you can just relax, stay behind, let the pet do everything and you just win the game, right? So I think in the end they realized that oops, we have made a mistake that make some of the hero too strong, and at that time they tried to nerf Doctor Doom, man, but it was impossible because the fan base was so huge, and Doctor Doom is a 600 Splinter, the most expensive kind of heroes. You can't just nerf a hero like that. You can't just nerf a very popular heroes like that, right? So in the end, I think they realized that oops, I've made a mistake, and I think in some way it kind of hurt Magic a little bit because Magic didn't really, I don't think her summoner worked. So I think that that's a long story on where we are, and I can't refresh. I don't know why. What? Refresh? No. Does it lag this way? Hang on, what's my ping? I don't know, man. I think it's it's Spark, right? It's I cannot refresh my vendor. Okay, now I can. Okay. And I can buy yet another Crimson box, and guess what? How many Crimson box I have? You wouldn't want to know, man. It's like quite a number. I have no more space for Crimson box, so I'll see. I think I'll just leave it here. Okay. Yeah, I tend to do an unboxing video, so I'm keeping all my Crimson box for you guys at the end of the event. I don't know how long it's going to last, man. I don't know whether I have enough stash to I'm gonna unbox all my Crimson boxes and let you see how unlucky I am with the Nicholas. You know, it's really no joke. Okay, so I think that there's a very long introduction on where things are, why, where things has lead to, and if you compare like the Iceman work of art, the amount of summon ally damage that can buff the hero power versus what Magic is receiving, that's peanut, and that's why Magic never works, and it's a no-brainer. It doesn't take like someone from Gazillion kind of quality to understand why it doesn't work for Magic, because because it's back to the point whereby, okay, is hero dealing more damage or pet dealing more damage? If one of them is, then just buff one side. That's it. Okay, let me just head to a high town. Just keep talking about this. So now, how would I change the way that this work? And I would like to hear from you too, if you have idea to share with me, just to get some kind of like thinking behind it, right? I think the most simple kind of solution is that what about if all the gear that has summon ally damage will also have a damage component to it? So we have damage rating, crit damage rating, and or summon ally damage, like Gem of Curse, maybe add a summon ally damage to it, or some of these popular kind of like artifacts. You can't. You don't segregate the two in that clear a way, but you don't have to. You can buff both sides at the same time. You don't have to rely on crit damage rating to sort of buff the to buff the damage of the overall output of hero plus pets. If you have the summon ally damage, to be there, more of them around. Yes, you can. If you roll the costume core, not only do you get the flat damage, you can get summon ally damage. Something like that will probably help in buffing both sides, the heroes and the pets as well. And I think in a way it's a very I don't think it's elegant, but it's a straightforward way to sort of sort out the both. So you don't need to sacrifice on either one of them, and you can just go as per normal and just gear and go for a crit, and then for some of the gear you don't need to sacrifice so much between the flat damage or summon ally damage kind of thing. So that's sort of like one very like not elegant way of solving the issue, but I think it's something that may work. And the another one is that what about we go back to the 1.0, whereby the damage rating and crit damage rating actually roll up to the pet itself. So in a way, the pet will be able to benefit from how you gear the hero as a summon ally damage, right? And then keep the as a summon kind of like the pet damage, but keep the summon ally damage as a as a flavor. Let it suffer, say, a diminishing return or whatnot. It's going to buff your pet, but not in a way whereby make it you don't have to choose between the damage rating and the crit damage rating for it. If you can get some of this towards the certain level, with a diminishing return, you don't need to overstack it, but if you stack a little bit more, there's a flavor to it, so it buffs your pet in a way. So I mean that may work too. That could be quite an easy fix in a sense, but I mean, of course, that will require all the kind of balance between all the heroes itself. But there aren't that many summoner anyway to balance. So yeah, I mean, why not do it? I don't know. That's one way I think of, and the I think the another way to think about is that why not we have we separate what is the pet auto attack versus what is the hero interaction attack. So I would say that if it is a pet attack, means the pet auto attack, then the summon ally damage would then benefit from it. But then for the heroes kind of like interaction, it should be buffed accordingly. So like what Iceman has the work of art, those sort of things, you should have more power like that to buff the hero based on the summon ally damage, so that it makes sense to gear for summon ally damage for all the summoners. You don't need to think too hard. So if you are new to the game and you are uncertain about certain things, but if you are playing a summoner, it should come as no surprise that gearing summon ally damage would benefit you the most, and it should always be the case. With or without the knowledge of all this mathematical knowledge itself. All right, so I mean that is how I think about it, and I think the last idea is very controversial, and I always like to do something controversial here because it triggers thoughts, and even if you disagree, that's fine too, because that would create some new ideas. We take it to the extreme and then rewind back to reality. What if both the this place is like what if all the damage rating, crit damage rating, summon ally damage, all of them has a diminishing return, which means to say that we acknowledge the fact that some heroes would have maybe everybody's doing Gordon, we acknowledge the fact that summoner will have two portions to it. One is hero, one is pet, right? But you can't stack on one because now it's very simple, right? You just have to determine which one would. You just need to determine which side give you more output. Is it hero give you more than 50%, or pets give you more than 50%, and then you try to gear one side of it, just stack like crazy on one side, right? So what if you actually have to have a diminishing return for both the crit damage rating as well as damage rating, brutal damage rating, and also the summon ally damage. So you can't just overstack on something without doing ignoring the rest, right? So and by doing so, the advantage is that you then become very interesting. You just gear up to a certain level, and you know that okay, that's enough. I can gear for something else that make it more interesting. And of course, they will affect those non-summoner as well. I don't know how that will pan out, but I mean, just some idea here to do it. Or another way is that all summoner has like an icon in the power tree here to select to be a summoner, and the summon ally damage become the contribution to all the heroes' power in some sense. So for those heroes that could be like either summoner or non-summoner, you can have all these things to play around. I think the bottom line is that I think there are better ways to deal with this whole summoner kind of like gameplay than what we have today. That's what I like to say. All right. It's been very long talking about the summoner because why do I talk so much about summoner? Because I'm actually very passionate about this whole summoner thingy, and my wife loves to play Rocket Raccoon, although nowadays she gave up already, and and I always have this hope that one day Gazillion would do something better in terms of the how they create the summoner kind of how they actually build the summoner, design the summoner, so that it will be more fun. So I always hope that one day it will be it, but I don't know what one day is, because looking at the history, Gazillion do take a long time to even get to somewhere to do something. So for this whole redesign, I don't know. I don't really have a lot of hope. I don't think in near future they can figure out what has gone wrong with Summoner. I think it's just too complicated right now for many new players. I think it shouldn't be that hard. All right, it shouldn't be that complex. It should be very straightforward. If you Summoner, it's always a win if you go for a certain set, but will not be too overpowering between different Summoners. Summoners should be balanced as well. That's my bottom line. All right. So the next part of it is the traveling power. What I feel about the traveling power is that, and I feel Mandarin. What should I do? I should do a Mandarin, I think. Let me just head to some. Why there's a bubble there? I'm progressing. You know, someone in the forum say that they have nerfed the XP. I think it may be true though, because I'm not feeling I'm 150% server bonus right now. It takes so long to even get to 1 Omega point. I think somehow they just, something is happening into them. So the next bit about traveling power, pardon me, get some tea first. Okay. I personally enjoy fast teleporter. Fast teleporter means that like Vision is not a fast teleporter. Definitely not. Fast teleporter like Doctor Doom, like Scarlet Witch, I think, Nightcrawler is very fast as well. Cable is pretty fast as well. So there are some teleporter that teleport very fast, and some would consume so much spirit just to move around, like Green Goblin. Once you move around, it's like, wow, it's like you can use up all the spirit just to get from A to B. And the like Hawkeye also, but at least Green Goblin drops some bombs along the way. But Hawkeye is like like it's just purely slow. And there are some actually without spirit, as the person move around, you actually destroy enemy as well. There's like no spirit, and yet teleport, and yet you are destroying enemies. So how great is that? And there are some heroes like even Psylocke and Elektra. I don't think Elektra would do a lot of damage as she move around, but Psylocke actually does a lot of damage as the shadow cut through the enemy while she dash around. So again, there's a lot of discrepancies between the heroes. Some do not require spirit to move from A to B. Some move a lot faster. Some rely on flying, which is at least is better. Some fly faster than others, like the Jean's Phoenix is a lot faster than the Rogue. I have no idea why, at least how I feel it. Some is on a bite, and bite is never something that is easy to. I don't think bite is something that is easy to maneuver. I never find it easy to maneuver itself. So why is that discrepancy? Is it good to have a discrepancy? Now, I think on one hand, as someone who has played close to maybe 50 to 60 heroes, it is good to be aware what some of the heroes are, travel like if you think about Winter Soldier, Captain America on the left, and they will just jog fast and just move fast, right? But if you look at other heroes, they teleport. Some heroes fly, like Jean, Iron Man, and so on. So, and I think in a way the game is going to hang, and it's sort of like reminding me that please hurry up. So I just very quickly wrapped up this thing is that I think it is important to have a sort of like a flavor to it on some of the heroes that can teleport or can move around in some way. But is it fun or not? I mean, I don't enjoy playing heroes that move slow. Let's put it this way. If it were up to me, I would dedicate probably 1 Omega Note, whereby any heroes can just pick a teleport power, or pick a power to become, pick one note that can give the person or the hero a new power to teleport around without having to resort to some of these very slow moving spirit consumption kind of thingy, or convert the existing movement power to use no spirit or no resource. I think that would probably be something that I would implement it. So I still reserve the flavor, as in like you still need to roll around, you still need to fly around, but by picking a certain Omega Note, it will remove the spirit component to it, resource component to it. And if they must nerf the damage as well, do it. I mean, that's fine. Like Ghost Rider has Ride, and it damage enemy along the way. If the damage is being reduced, or it's become a trade-off between the two, you use lesser spirit, but you deal lesser damage on those movement power, that's fine too. So anyway, that's the end of the video, and thank you very much for watching. I hope you got some idea on how the summoner work, and my view on this whole traveling, and a little bit of this event and so on. And this event will continue, and till the next time we see each other, goodbye, have fun.